overall good speech. Overall, I thought it was a good speech too. I picked those two things because those are the things that stood out to me as oddly very positive and very negative at the same time. It's weird how I had that perception. Let's hop into the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez response before we take a break. Green New Deal.
I'm starting to kind of love her.
Really?
Well, only because she just makes the left look so bad. I think that she is just the best thing.
Yes. Well, she's making them look great. That's what's interesting. She'll mention this in her response because that's what I get a kick out of it. Everybody's supposedly obsessed with AOC and she's my favorite punching bag. What is NBC News? I was watching NBC for the immediately after the speech, going to the new congresswoman so hip that she just goes by AOC now. It's like the first thing they do when the speech is over, before Stacey Abrams has even spoken. We're going to go to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So this is what she had to say immediately after the speech itself.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was elected to the House from New York last November, just weeks after her 29th birthday. She's a progressive Democrat, favorite target of conservatives, and already so well known she can go by just her initials, AOC. And she joins us from Capitol Hill. Congresswoman, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. Actually, where the president talked about socialism, using socialism would be winning message or winning position in 2020. Today, it's not about an ism, and I think that that's what he's trying to characterize because our politics Medicare for all. Even that. It's not even a very long. I think what the issues.
First of all, that's straightforward. She's a favorite target of conservatives, maybe because you go straight to her immediately after the State of the Union. They do, and then they get other people to respond.
He's literally refused.
Yeah, I think that's unarguable.
If this is all because she's hot, is that it? That's the only reason.
Well, now you're going to start thinking that.
She's pretty wall-eyed. I if you didn't know,
I mean, as I've said before, she has her moments. I don't consider her. Listen, she has a hilariously horsey smile.
What about those granny glasses?
In the right shot. I think she has her moments. I don't think that she's either hot or like hideous. I think she's just a person. If I saw her on the street,
she's a politics hate.
If I didn't know who, I guess you could draw that distinction compared to, I don't know, Amy Klobuchar, Kirsten Gillibrand, sure.
Yeah, is it just that though? Is it that she's kind of foxy and then she has social media appeal, or is it her underdogs?
Their obsession with her? I think it's the
why is
I think it's
so
the hardline progressive politics. But she mentioned Trump is calling her names. When Trump actually made that call out about socialism, he didn't call anybody. He actually articulated the philosophy of why this thinking is bad.
Yeah,
that was actually on point, Trump. Yeah, but for her to claim ad hominem, I don't think that was ad hominem at all.
He only addressed.
He says we don't want socialism in this country. You might dispute the label of the idea, but he's not labeling you, the person. He's labeling the idea.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. It's not ad hominem. I thought that was garbage. Anyway, to her point on the polling, because I know disbelief, and actually so was I, so I looked at some of the polling results that she's referencing. We'll get back to this Green New Deal polling here momentarily. But on this question, she said 70% of people favor Medicare for all. This is a reference from a Reuters survey, or at least survey data in a Reuters article recently. And it found 70% support, but the question is, would you support or oppose the following, a policy of Medicare for all? That's all it says.
Yeah, that's what bias the survey question. It doesn't say anything about the costs.
It's also sort of unclear. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean Medicare for all people when they become eligible at the age of 65, as is the status quo? Do you mean Medicare for all
ages of people?
Right now? What do you mean? We haven't talked about the benefit, we haven't talked about the patient, we haven't talked about any of the details of the policy. So I suspect, like a lot of these hardline progressive ideas, they pull well when you give people like ones, hey, would you like free stuff? Yeah, sure.
And do you want everybody to have a better life?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you...
Well, it's kind of like, do you want duckies and ponies and unicorns? Yeah, sure. Okay, but the asterisk is like that it's all going to be government administered at gunpoint. You must play with the pawns. Really, that kind of stuff. That's when it tends to become less popular. So I do want to be clear though, because she is, as far as reading the polling data, correct. Will be interesting to see as her policies become more heavily scrutinized in the public eye. Will they be supported? Her reference to $15 minimum wage, the most recent polling data I can find is from August 2016, 58% favor, 41% opposed. That is a majority in favor. I don't know that it's the overwhelming majority that she's discussing. A majority of Americans do support raising the top tax rate to 70%. That was 59% in support. The Green New Deal itself, which we'll get into momentarily, is less popular. As of now, this is reported by the Huffington Post. Recent polling finds 43% support for the Green New Deal, 38% opposed, 10% no, 10%. Sure, and this is polling conducted by a left-wing tank data projects. So I'm definitely willing to put money on the idea that these things poll well based on limited description and appealing label, and that when people actually think about the details, they become much less popular. And if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez disagrees with me, I invite her to push the party into her platform.
Please do.
Especially this Green New Deal stuff. Like, this is, it is as if it is written by a child.
Yeah, it's incomprehensible. And she doesn't say anything about the cost. Very end of that.
And she does that stupid thing where they say, the real question is not how much it's going to cost, is what is the cost of not doing anything? Like, well,
that's not an argument.
Yeah, that's not really an argument. And also, the status quo, even if I grant your premise about climate and all these things, the status quo is better than, I don't know, the economy totally destroyed. I'd rather have status quo, imperfect status quo, than like fundamentally destroyed U.S. economy. So the cost of not doing anything might actually be comparatively beneficial.
The live chat's been really fun. Somebody just said she has rabbit in the...
I don't even know what that means.
Like
let's hop into Super Chat.